Okay, so we are now live and we are recording. So no matter what happens, even if we get off the call or whatever, I have this recording that you guys can watch in the internet on Facebook later. Okay, so really excited. There's a lot of interesting and exciting stuff I want to share with you today, and it's around the mega trends. Okay, it's around the mega trends that are happening right now, and these are trends that you cannot ignore. Okay, and if you want to be successful in selling, you want to be successful in business, you absolutely have to be talking about these trends and understanding these trends. Okay, right. So first question, put in the chat right now, what do you think is the most valuable resource? I've got 3 options here. What do you guys think is the most valuable resource? Put in the chat right now. Is it gold? Is it oil? Or is it data? Okay, Radin says data. You know what, Radin? You are absolutely correct. Okay, data is the most valuable of these 3, and people say it's the most valuable resource. But there is actually one more resource more valuable than data, right? There is one more resource. Can anyone guess what it is? There's one resource more valuable than even data. Can anyone guess what it is? Okay. Okay. So to some extent, what I'm going to share with you, yes, people, but you know, I want to be more specific, right? I want to be more specific. Sorry,
Sorry, I'm still not sure about
that. I have to kill my Siri. 1 second, yeah. Okay. This is fun. All right. So, you know, when I ask a question to you, my phone Siri is also on. So it's like trying to answer the question, which is what is the most valuable resource? And even Siri is confused. They are like, Siri is like asking me like, I'm not sure, you know, what is the most valuable resource? Okay, anyway. So there is one more resource more than data, and even maybe Siri cannot understand, but I hope I can share this with you today. Okay, so to explain this, right, to explain this, I have to talk to you about what happened with Facebook in 2018. Do you remember in 2018, it was probably the worst year that Facebook ever had in their entire history. Number one, they were, you know, Mike Zuckerberg had to be called for a congressional hearing because of the Cambridge Analytica problem, you know, in the US elections. On top of that, there was a huge media backlash on Facebook, and everyone was talking negatively about Facebook. Okay, so I thought this is the end of Facebook. That's it. You know, Facebook is over. People have realized what's going on. You know, nobody is going to support Facebook anymore, and blah 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 blah. Right? But something funny happened at the end of 2008. After all the problems, after all the challenges that Facebook went through, when they posted their Q4, quarter 4 earnings, right? They made $17 billion. And you know what the best part was? It was actually 30% more than the year before. And the year before was their best year. Okay, so Facebook was on a roll, right? Facebook was on a roll. And I thought, you know, wow, how did that happen? Like, how did it happen? And you know, this is the information from Q4 of 2019. Okay, so 2018 were the results. 2019, they recorded another 30% increase, right? Another $17-18 billion, which they made, right? So it's up another 30%. And why? Like, why is Facebook doing so well? Right? Why is Facebook doing so well, even though everybody hates them, even though they're having all these problems with the government and the media and everyone, right? Facebook is growing like crazy and Facebook is doing so well. Why? Right? That is the main question. Why? Right? Okay, it's because they own a sweet spot in the new economy. Okay, now I want to share with you that the world's data is doubling every 24 months. Okay, And like this one, every day you've got 100 million photos, you've got 5 billion videos are being watched, and 500 million tweets are being made every single day. Okay, so these are numbers that are mind blowing, right? So the key here, right, is that if you look at Facebook, right, Facebook has got a sweet spot in the attention economy. Everyone is completely distracted, and they're distracted, right? We're looking at all these Facebook shares, we're looking at the world's data is doubling, and why? It's actually because of content that's being created, and content like this, for example, right? So you've got here, Happy Sam is one example where how many of you have got more than 10,000 users, 10,000 followers on Instagram? Please put in the chat right now, because I would congratulate you, right? 10,000 followers on Instagram is an amazing achievement. So if you've got more than 10,000 followers, I salute you. But this cat right here, and he was born with 2 black patches above his eyes, right? And he has got 250,000 followers on Instagram. Can you imagine that? 250,000 followers on Instagram. How crazy is that? Okay, how crazy is that? So, and over here, Lil Bao on YouTube, 2.5 million subscribers on YouTube, right? So these are the people that are stealing away your attention. We are living in the attention economy, and these people are stealing away your attention, okay? So Facebook has got a sweet spot in a brand new economy, okay? But there's a problem. There's a problem now, because all these line down here shows that people are not so interested in ads anymore, right? People don't want to watch ads, and they're running away from ads, okay? So as I mentioned, we're living in the economy, we're living in the attention economy. So what is the new currency for this attention economy? You know, in the Indonesian economy, we've got rupiah, right? In the US economy, you've got the US dollar. So in the attention economy that we're living in right now, what is the new currency? Put in the chat right now if you can guess. Well, trust. Trust is the new currency in the attention economy, because you know our attention is so limited right now that we would actually work with somebody that we trust, or an influencer. That's why influencers are doing so well, because we resonate with them, we trust with them. So we would only give money and exchange our dollars to people that we actually trust, right? So so let's keep going, right? I don't know why this slide is here, but anyway, trust is the key thing, right? Okay, so where the attention goes, that's where the money flows. And this is really, really important for anybody, right? So the longer you can hold someone's attention, the more likely they are to give you money, right? So, but there's a big problem. The problem is that attention is down, and so is trust, okay? So because of fake news and because of whatever else, because of the attention economy, and there's so much of content coming up, our attention spans have gone down, and the trust level has gone down as well, okay? But just looking at that data alone is not enough. There's one more new study that actually looked at the people who were binge watching content. So these are people who watch content on Netflix, or they are spending a lot of time binge watching, right? That means watching one episode after another. And these are not like high school students or, you know, old age pensioners and living in a retirement home. No, these are people who are white collar workers. They did the study, right? They are working professionals like you and me. So how are they coping with this? So how come they can actually binge watch? So first of all, they become more selective, right? So this is insight for you when you are doing your marketing and sales. Your customers are becoming more selective on what they should consume. Number two, they are becoming less distracted. So in the old days, because of the attention economy, right, we're using tools like technology to become less distracted. So we're using, for example, like I install an ad blocker in my on my browser. right? To stop the ads from showing, because I find these ads are distracting and annoying, right? And 85% of them, look, 85%, like that's almost everyone, right? Almost 90%. 85% of them say, if I'm only going to look at a content if there is a story in there. And this is so important, okay? So the secret to actually monetizing in the attention economy, right, and developing trust is really to grab their attention, which is what a lot of marketers do very well. But there's also one other thing, right? We're able to hold that attention. And this is the best way to hold that attention is to use the power of story, okay? To use the power of story, to want to hold that attention. Okay, I want to jump to the next part, which is a very, very interesting part, and the reason why it's going to blow your mind, okay? And this is it. Do you know that, well, not do you know, I'm sure you've realized that, you know, when you look at all the people in the world, right? They are like black people, they are like white people, and they are like all the colors in between, right? So pretty much the world is divided into like a few races, right? You've got the Aboriginal people in Australia, you've got the Africans, then you've got the whites, then you've got the Chinese-looking people, then you've got the Indian-looking people, then you've got the Indonesian, Polynesian kind of looking people, right? So you've got all these different races, right? And they're quite distinct. You can recognize them, right? An African nose, a Chinese eye. You can actually recognize that, no, this person has got Chinese eyes. This person has got European nose, right? You can actually tell like that, okay? So just like this, we are also able to categorize the stories in the world, right? I'm talking about now, not the stories in the world that you hear. I'm talking about the buyer story. Remember we spoke about every buyer has got a story, has got an internal story, remember, right? So we can actually categorize those buyer stories into 12 categories. That's right. There may be, I don't know, 8 billion people on this planet, but all of them have got just 12 stories, right? So we can easily segment them and group them into the internal stories. Like you're probably wondering, like, what is Indhran talking about, right? I'm talking about brand personas and archetypes. So brand personas are personas or personalities that your brand stands for, and archetypes are these, what I call, they call it the collective unconscious, right? Sigmund Freud talked about it. Generally, the psychologists have identified that we have our internal stories, and our internal stories can be divided into 12. And what are those 12? It's right here, okay? So there are 12 archetypes or 12 internal personalities, right? And they can be divided into 4 categories. Now, why is this important to you? Because you probably want to know, like, what your customer's internal story is, because if you can know what the internal story is, you can sell to that story. If you want to know what is your external story, you can also find out from here. So let me give you an example. So basically these 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, just like the numbers on a clock, right? They are divided into 4 categories, right? So the first category is provide structure to the world. So these people are the everyday people who give the structure to the world. That's what they're looking to provide. The next one is looking for a dream, for a paradise, to run away, to get away from the reality that we live in, right? The next one, they want to leave a mark on this world. They really, really particularly interested to say, I did this, I created this, I want this, right? So this is the one who want to leave a mark on the world. And the other one is those who want to have a sense of community. They want to belong to something and somewhere, right? So I don't know, can you guys guess already like which one you are? So let me give you an example. My archetype personally is actually the sage archetype, right? Because I want to make an understanding of the world. I want to be able to be philosophical. I'm looking for the truth. So wherever I go, I'm looking for the truth. So here, when I talk to you about selling, I can see so many books out there. They are talking about the wrong things. They're talking about the old things, and it's not true. It's not relevant anymore. So I am very interested to uncover the truth and share that truth. Okay, I want to share the truth. I'm not interested to share something that's not working or something that's not correct, right? So my archetype is much close to the sage. But really, if you look at it, everyone has got a little bit of everything in here. But when you boil down your archetype, when you boil down your story, okay, it kind of connects with one or two. Like I've got a bit of an explorer, okay, I've got a bit of an outlaw. So I would say, if you look at where I'm aligned to, it's this number one, number two, number three for me. Okay, I want to leave a mark on the world, but at the same time, you know, I want freedom. I want to have something that's not what everyone has, right? I want to have something a little different, and I want this paradise, something that's maybe not even possible to get, but I want to, you know, die trying to achieve it, kind of thing. Okay, so try to think about yourself, and later I'll give you a tool that you can actually use to find your own archetype. But let's keep moving on. Now, this archetype works for your personality, but it also works for your brand. That's right. So many brands, so if I asked you right now, if you have a product, right, and your product, you say, hey, you know what, how many people can buy your product? Oh, everyone can buy my product. You know, everyone can use my product. But the truth be told, there is a particular signature of customer that will be drawn to your product, right? These are your ideal customers. And this is the people that you should be totally laser focused on delivering value for, right? So I'll give you an example. The best example maybe I can give is Lululemon. Anyone familiar with Lululemon? Lululemon, they make basically what they call athletic wear. It's a Canadian brand. And guess what? They sell pretty much yoga pants, okay? And their turnover is 1 billion US dollars. That's right. They sell these yoga pants for the most part, right? And other kinds of clothes. And their turnover is 1 billion US dollars, right? Now, if you walked over to the marketing manager, the head of marketing of Lululemon, which makes pretty much yoga pants, right? And says, hey, who is your ideal customer? Who is your ideal target persona, right? She will tell you that my ideal customer, she is a white Caucasian female, upwardly mobile. That means she has got her very, very successful in her job. She is not married, but she wants to get married, right? She is 32 years old, right? So this is so laser focused. Now, when you look at the people who actually buy Lululemon product, you will see that they are 16-year-old girls and they are 65-year-old women. They all buy these yoga pants, right? But Lululemon is not so much interested to market to these people. They are focused on their core, their most profitable segment. And guess what? Because they've created an archetype they've created a brand around their yoga pants. So a 16-year-old girl wants to aspire to be that 32-year-old woman. The 65-year-old woman is reminiscing, and she wants to regain back that youth, that she wants to feel that. So she is also drawn to the brand, right? So in many ways, Lululemon has become very, very defined in their branding. So many brands, if you look at, they did a study over 6 years, and they found that the brands that were defined in their archetype, that means they chose their archetype. They said, we are going to go for only one of these 12 stories, right? And we're going to build around these stories, and we're not going to worry about all the other 11 stories. We're just going to laser focus. And these brands rose almost 100%. For example, they doubled, right? 97% is almost 100%, which is a double, right? They've grown 100% more than their competitors. who were trying to please everyone, and they were not very clear about their brand archetype, right? Their brand story. So let's keep going. So what are the examples, right? What are the examples? So here's an example right here for you. So how many of you are actually using this product? So here you've got Nike, okay? Nike is the hero archetype, right? Nike is the hero archetype. And you've got Mercedes-Benz, like Audi, for example. You've got Audi is the sage, okay? Audi is the sage archetype. Mercedes-Benz, on the other hand, is the ruler archetype. Okay, so you can see that Mercedes-Benz and Audi, they are comparing and they are connecting in the same level, right? They are connecting in the same price point. They are fighting in the same for the same market, but their brand story is different. So a person who drives an Audi will look at a Mercedes-Benz and say, "I love that car, but it's not for me," right? At the same time, a person who drives a Mercedes-Benz will look at an Audi and say, "Beautiful design. I love the car. I like the way the Audi is. But you know what? I really can't see myself in an Audi." Okay. So we've got many different brands here. For example, Apple is the creator, right? The explorer, the rebel. And let me take a little bit further. Okay. So like I said, we've got these 12 brands. I'm going to cover them in detail, right? So what is the innocent? Okay, the innocent is this archetype like Dove, for example. It's the archetype, you know, when you were in kindergarten, when you were in school, when you were in, you know, in the old, when you were very young and you were innocent and you were pure, right? And a lot of people, they fall back to that story. They fall back to that story and they feel they get comfort with that story. Okay, it's a time when you were young and you were happy, right? So Coca-Cola's archetype. Coca-Cola is one of the biggest brands in the world. Okay, their archetype is about the innocent, right? It's about being happy, right? So whenever you drink Coca-Cola, it's always around friends. It's always around happiness. It's the brand story, right? So your own company, your own brand does have its own archetype, whether you like it or not. Okay, either it's confused or it is defined, but your brand definitely has a reputation. It has a story. It has an archetype. Whether you are making it or not, your customers have made it up for you. Okay, so let's look at the sage, which is more pretty much where I am related, right? The sage is the archetype that will never know too much. So I'm always me. I'm hungry to learn more. I'm hungry to share the truth. So my archetype, my brand archetype, the Indhran brand, right, is much more closely related to Google and BBC, right? So BBC is very different from Fox News or any other news channel for that matter. BBC is more closely related to Al Jazeera. So Al Jazeera, BBC, and some of these other news outlets, they are very, very driven, not so much to sensational news like CNN and CNN and Fox News. They are very much on sensational news, right? BBC is more on, hey, let's get to the truth of it. Let's get to the bottom of it. Let's get some research done, right? So if you watch a documentary on BBC, you will see that there's a lot of effort that's gone into it. Now, Google, on the other hand, is the same thing. Now, if you look at Google, before Google was not the first search engine to come on. There was Yahoo there. Okay, before Google, it was Yahoo, and before Yahoo, I think it was Search.com, and there was so many other search engines, right? Alta Vista, Dogpile, and all these other search engines. There was another one, Ask Jeeves, which was a human-powered search engine, right? All these search engines have fallen by the wayside, and Google has dominated. Why? Because Google just really, really gives you the best user experience and goes in depth using their technology, and nobody can beat Google, right? And then you come with the next one, which is the Explorer, right? So you can see between the innocent, the sage, and the explorer, how different already these personalities are in terms of brands. Because if I talk to you in terms of the personality, it's going to be hard. But if I share with you the brands, you'll be able to get it easier. So you have tried Red Bull, maybe, right? I'm sure maybe you've tried Red Bull before, and you think, you know what, it's just a drink, right? But the archetype of Red Bull, right? The story around Red Bull is something completely different that you makes you want to try new things, to be very adventurous. So whenever you see Red Bull, you know there's adventure, you know there's exploration, whether it's a car chase, whether it is somebody jumping out from a satellite and falling down to earth in the world, whether it is snowboarding, skiing, whatever. Red Bull is known for this archetype. So people who are explorers, people who are going in that direction, they would go and resonate with the Red Bull brand, right? Now, Red Bull is very, very active, very exciting, very sexy and very amazing, right? But it is completely different from the Outlaw brand. And you can see the Outlaw brand is also going out and going there, but the Outlaw brand, right? If you look at the Outlaw brand here, you will see that the Outlaw brand is completely different from the Explorer brand, because the Outlaw brand says, hey, I want to break rules. I want to make something completely different, right? Rules are meant to be broken. So the Explorer is like going out and looking for new things, right? Getting new experiences and whatever, the Explorer. But the Outlaw, as you can see, is completely different. They are not going out so much, but they're staying there, but they're breaking the rules. They want to do something different within their spaces, right? And then you've got the Magician. So the Magician is all about something that is magical, but magical in the sense, if you look at an apple, right? You take an Apple iPhone, for example, and you take maybe an Android phone, and you know there's something about the Apple that makes it somewhat magical. It somewhat make it like someone makes it look like it's out of the ordinary. It's not a normal smartphone. It's an iPhone. It's not a normal tablet. It's an iPad. It's not a normal computer. It is a MacBook. It's not a normal laptop, right? So in many ways, there's something like an aura around, like a magical, supernatural, unicorn type of aura around the Magician type products, okay? And obviously, you pay a premium. So there are many kinds of vodka, but Absolute Vodka is something which is not cheap, right? There are many cheap vodkas, but Absolute Vodka is not cheap, okay? Then you've got Hero, okay? So the Hero is these brands that actually are about standing up to the bad guy, okay? So like Hero, here Ariel, Nike comes in there, but Nike has got other archetypes as well. And so that's the hero, right? So you always have this good guy, bad guy, and the hero is that. So whenever you have like a soap powder brand, okay, so all the germs are bad, all the dirt on clothes is bad, and the hero archetype goes in there and cleans out all the dirt and gives you that it's super white, beautiful, bright shirt or blouse or dress, okay? So the hero archetype is around that, okay? Now, let's go on. And then you've got the lover, right? The lover archetype is about those people who have the story. They are romantic at heart, okay? They have got this romantic story at heart. So they are, if you look at, for example, of all the alcohol, you have got this Baileys, right? Baileys is, again, it's not cheap. All these brands, they are not normal price products, right? They are always premium price because you're paying for the story, right? You're paying for the brand. Anyone can make lipstick, but Chanel lipstick, it's a different price, okay? Anyone can make ice cream, but Haagen-Dazs ice cream, it's a different price, okay? So all these brands have they can get away with charging a super premium price just because they understand the buyer story. Okay, so as I mentioned to you, brands that are they rose 97%. So for example, they could charge double the price of their competitor and people will still come and buy them because they understood the buyer's persona. They understood the buyer's story, right? So let's keep going, right? So Old Spice and M&M. I love M&M. I love Old Spice. I love Budweiser, right? Primarily because it's about having fun and enjoying life, right? So like I said, just because you are a particular archetype, you have a particular story, you still would take certain brands with you. So whenever you see M&M, right? Whenever you see an M&M, um, uh, those M&M character, right? You've got this M&M character. I'm sure you've seen them, right? In the M&M stores, their branding is very different. It's all about having fun. It's all about making fun. Okay. And then you've got more next to this Jester, you've got Serious brand. Okay, the Serious brand, which is the everyman brand. Okay, or the regular girl, the regular guy kind of brand. Okay, so it's basically the IKEA. So IKEA says everyday low prices. You know, no nonsense, right? We give you great design, Swedish design, everyday low prices. Same as Visa, okay, same as Kit Kat, for example, take a break, okay. So, and then you've got the creator. So the creator is actually about builder. So Apple also sometimes falls into this category, right? Because Apple is non-conforming in nature. You look at Lego, for example. Lego is just a plastic block made of plastic, right? How has Lego become a world brand, right? It's because it's got a something to it that is almost like a creator, right? They're trying to build a better world using Danish designs, right? And then you come with ruler. So as I mentioned to you earlier, you've got Audi, you've got BMW, and then you've got Mercedes-Benz. And Mercedes-Benz is so different. And that's why a brand like Audi, Mercedes-Benz, and BMW, these three brands, in terms of pricing, they're not too far away. They're all considered luxury cars. But they can compete amongst themselves on their own and they can have their own customers. Even there's no clear winner because they are going with different archetypes. They're going with different stories. So the ruler archetype, right, is like, I have made it. So when you drive a Mercedes-Benz, you're trying to say that I am a dominant person. I have actually made it, right? The Audi the Audi driver doesn't want to feel that. The Audi driver doesn't want to come into a party, right, and saying like I'm the ruler, right? They have got a different personality, right? So so some of you might say, what about those uber rich people who've got a BMW, a Mercedes-Benz, and an Audi sitting in their house, right? Like, what about these people? Like, they bought all three. Yes, it's true. These people, and I know many of these people, they bought all three, but when you talk to them, right? When you say, hey, which car is your favorite, right? That is when you will hear that they actually have a favorite. So you will know that they have these particular archetype. And you might say, for example, if you're going to go to a party, which car would you use? And then they'll say, oh, when I'm going to this party, I will use this Mercedes-Benz. But when I go to this party, I'm going to bring my Ferrari, right? So they will tell you that there are different facets of themselves that are being used. Okay, right. So now we've got the caregiver. Okay, the caregiver is the loving parent. So a good brand would be Johnson & Johnson, right? Johnson & Johnson archetype, the caregiver. So the mothers would trust that brand as a caregiver brand. Okay, so again, this is an archetype that people resonate with. Okay, so my question to you, right now, think about your own brand. Think about your brand, you know, whether you're selling whatever solution you're selling. If you don't have a brand, If you're working on your own, like me, I am my brand, okay? Indhran.com. I am a brand of my own, right? So I want to ask you, how focused is your brand proposition right now? Like, how focused are you on these archetypes? Do you know what archetype your brand stands for? Okay, do you know what your customers are resonating with? Okay, so I want to give you an example, and this is it's an amazing case study. Okay, it's an amazing case study of this everyday brand. You can find it in any supermarket, okay? And they created a video that got 99 million views. So imagine, right? Okay, this was, and when the study was taken, I'm sure it's more now, right? So imagine they got over 100 million views, okay, on YouTube. Imagine how you can get even 1 million views is a great deal, okay? They got 100 million views on YouTube. They got 337,000 like comments, engagement, likes, and stuff like that. Okay, and the brand, which is an everyday item, you can find it in any supermarket. Okay, it is not a new car or a new iPhone or something like amazing. That is so great. Okay, it is an everyday boring product. It's a boring product, right? It's actually a hygiene item. It's stuff you would use every day to keep yourself clean. Okay, so how could a brand like this, right, create a video that would be so viral, right? How did they create a video that became so viral? It's by understanding their archetype. Okay, in this case, it was the jester archetype. Remember, we talked about the jester. So the jester archetype, okay, is about enjoying life. It's about, hey, let your hair down, right? And so the example I'm sharing with you is the brand called Old Spice, and Old Spice is the one who created this video, right? Which I'm going to play for you right now.
Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me. But if he stopped using lady-scented body wash and switched to Old Spice, he could smell like he's me. Look down. Back up. Where are you? You're on a boat. The man your man could smell like. What's in your hand? Back at me. I have it. It's an oyster with 2 tickets to that thing you love. Look again. The tickets are now diamond. Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady. I'm on a horse.
Okay, so you can see this video, right, did really, really, really well. 100 million, over 100 million views, with hundreds of thousands of engagement, right? It was an absolute success. And when I say the video did well, a lot of videos, they get a lot of engagement, right? But then nothing happens to the sales, right? But this one, they managed to track this ad, this 30-second ad. They managed to track the ad all the way down to the sales, and they found a 10% sales increase, right? 10% sales for a $1 billion brand. Hey, that's a lot of money, okay? That's a lot of money. So the jester is all about pleasure, and they could identify that archetype, and people resonated with that archetype, right? So they are all about, so it says right here, if I can't dance, I'm not part of it, right? So they are always the ones who are about having fun, enjoying themselves, and letting their hair down, so to speak, or in my case, not letting their hair down, right? But anyway, so remember how I told you, right? The buyer has a story. So the buyer has a story about everything, right? The buyer has a story. And what Old Spice did was they brought their story into the gap. And so the buyer embraced the Old Spice as their own story. What do I mean by that? Okay, so you've got Old Spice here, right? And their story is, I need to start living my life, right? I'm going every day to work and back, and I hate this existence. I want to have a bit of fun. I want to let my hair down. I want to have fun. I want to experience life more, right? I want to really start living every single day of my life, right? This is the customer story. This is the buyer story, right? Now, your story in this sense is Old Spice is saying, you know what, you need to let your hair down, you need to relax, you need to have a bit of fun. Come on, why be so serious? Be just, have a bit of fun, right? And so when you see this brand, right, so then you've got the in between here, you've got our story, right? So you've got my story, your story, and then our story, right? So together, the buyer has actually embraced this as this is our story. So it's no more you and me. So this is where you get brand loyalty, where I don't see Apple as a company, or I don't see the iPhone as a brand, and then there's me. I see iPhone in my life, right? I see iPhone in my life. For those of you who just signed in, right? I was trying to like ask everyone a question earlier, and like Siri was on, and Siri tried to answer the question, what's the most valuable resource in the world? But anyway, so I see Apple as part of my life, right? So for many people, Old Spice, when they use Old Spice, or when they buy Old Spice, they're women who go shopping and buy Old Spice for their husbands, right? They see as Old Spice as something exotic, as something amazing. It's not boring. It's actually fun. It's actually interesting. Okay, so that's the Old Spice. I'm going to give you two other examples. Okay, the next one is the outlaw. Okay, the outlaw archetype, as I mentioned earlier, is very different from the explorer. The explorer is actually, I want to go out there and I want to explore stuff. The outlaw says, I want to start a revolution. The rules are meant to be broken and I am going to break them, right? I'm going to be amazing. So one very good example of an explorer brand, which really ties true to explorer, is Harley Davidson. You can see there are many, many, many motorcycle companies. There are many motorcycle companies in the world. In fact, Harley Davidson started from World War II. Okay, since Harley Davidson started their brand, there were many other brands from Japan, especially, right, and China now, making these cheap motorcycles. But Harley Davidson does not have to worry about that because its customers are super loyal. Harley Davidson customers are so loyal to the brand, they actually tattoo the Harley Davidson logo on their arms. That's right. The bikers actually have got these logos of the brand on their arms. Imagine how amazing it would be if your customers actually made a tattoo of your logo of your company on their arms, on their bodies, right? How amazing. That means this is my brand for life, right? I fully 100% resonate with this. So Harley Davidson is lucky enough to actually have their people to do that. And for the most part, their customers are willing to tattoo because they are outlaws. They are not afraid to have to walk around with a tattoo on their arms in this sense, right? And so their story is, I'm here to break the status quo, right? Your story, in terms of if you're Harley Davidson, your story is, screw it, let's ride. I don't care about the rules and regulations. Let's just ride and have a good time, right? And explore everything and be tough and be strong, right? So together, the customer of Harley Davidson has got this attitude, right? My Harley makes me happy. You, not so much, right? So they've got this attitude, and the Harley Davidson bike actually builds into their brand, right? They see the bike, they see the Harley Davidson, the biker jacket, the Harley Davidson logo, everything that Harley Davidson stands for, right, is something which they then fill the gap that they have. Remember, we talked about the identity and the image. So a classic case in this situation is where we had, the real Harley Davidson bikers in the US, for example. These guys are really, really tough, okay? They are tough, and they are, you don't want to mess with them, okay? They are really, really like aggressive people, some of them. But then you've got another category who are what they call these urban warriors, right? Whereby these people are like in their 40s or 50s. They're like CEOs or senior managers of very large companies but they also feel that they feel drawn to the brand. So you've got these bikers, and you see them a lot in Asia as well, where they have this Harley Davidson. The bike is so huge, and they are trying to balance themselves over it. But they feel great. They feel awesome. They're living their dream. Okay, they're living their dream, and because they've got a gap, they have been very, very successful in life, working their way up in the corporate world. For example, if I'm the CEO of a large company, and I'm living by the rules and everything, and I'm fed up because I became CEO, I became successful in my company, not by following the rules. I became successful by bucking the trend, by not breaking the rules so much, but by bending the rules and actually getting things my way. And that's what I like, right? And when I see Harley Davidson and the way this Harley Davidson brand is, I resonate with it, right? And there's a gap. There's a gap that I feel. So on weekends, on Sundays, you'll see a lot of these people taking their Harleys out and they're riding, right? They're riding out there, and they are feeling really alive, right? So this is where the Harley Davidson brand has got so much of brand loyalty and very highly successful, right? If you look at Harley Davidson as a bike, it is actually a very ineffective bike, and it's very noisy. And for those people who ride Harley Davidson bikes, they will tell you it is a very difficult bike to ride as well, because it is not like the Japanese bikes where you got speed, you got sprint, right? The Harley Davidson is more of not so much a sprinter, but it's more of a comfortable ride. Okay, so the Harley Davidson is a long haul for going on the highways. On highways in the US, it was designed for that, right? So it's, as they say, for Harley Davidson, it's not so much the destination, it's about the journey, right? So a lot of people, they actually enjoy the ride. It's not that they want to go from, say, Indonesia, they don't want to go from Jakarta to Bandung, and they're not like ready to go to Bandung, right? Yes, they're ready to go to Bandung, but they're really enjoying the ride from Jakarta to Bandung, right? Or the whole ride with their team and stopping along the way and doing all that stuff. Okay, the third one, and this is the final one, the innocent. Okay, so this is an archetype which is about safety. It's about purity. It's about simplicity, right? And simple is elegant. So Dove brand, there are many brands, right, of soap out there. Just have to go to your local supermarket aisle and you will see all these brands, right? But Dove brand, the Dove brand stands out. Okay, it stands out because what Dove did was they understood their buyer market very well. Okay, so the women who actually resonate well with Dove, right? They are sick and tired of all these Photoshop images which are fake, looking on magazine covers and whatever, right? And they don't want to be identified with that, right? So they have this feeling like, oh my God, I'm sick and tired of having to look perfect all the time, right? So this is their story, right? And Dove has come up with their own story, which says, hey, you are more beautiful than you think. You don't have to be perfect all these women on magazine covers and all these models on the catwalk, which are all fake anyway, right? They have been photoshopped so much, and they've been having all these amazing hairstylists working on them for that minute, and then after that it's over, right? So together, right, these women feel like, yes, you know what, Dove understands me, right? I will use Dove because I resonate with Dove. Dove makes me understand that I am more beautiful than I actually think. And it's true, I am more beautiful. And you look at all the Dove ads, you look at all you can just go on Google and you can type Dove ads, and you will see that they talk a lot about women and, men of course, but in this case, it was very much driven to women who actually think they're ugly, who actually, when a woman looks in the mirror, all they see is their flaws, right? They see all the problems. Oh, my nose is like this, or my eyebrow is missing this, and whatever. But you know, when they walk out on the street and whatever, people don't see the flaws the way these women are seeing it, right? So, and this is a really crazy story, and I'm gonna share this story because it's such a crazy story. Okay, I met this girl once, right? And she used to work in Italy, okay, and she had a crooked nose, right? She had her nose was crooked, so every time she looked in the mirror, she hated her nose. She really hated that that look, and she was like, you know what? I'm going to get a plastic surgery. I'm going to make my nose straight. Okay, so she was working in Italy at that time, so she actually said to her. She started saving money because she wanted to go to a good plastic surgeon, and which was in Germany, right? So she identified this plastic surgeon who was very, very good at doing nose jobs, right? And so she went to the she saved up for months, right? And when she got enough money, she was so happy. She went to the plastic surgeon, and she said, look, I need my nose job done. And he said, what kind of nose do you want? And for your face, you need this nose, and this nose will look perfect. And she was like, this is the perfect nose for me. I think so. I hope this operation works well, right? So she went into the operation nervous as hell, right? She was so nervous. What's going to happen? Because it's your face, right? It's your face. Imagine if something goes wrong and the operation gets bad. It's like right there on your face. Your nose is sitting right on your face. So she was really nervous, but at the same time, she hated how her nose looks now. It was big, it was fat, it was stubby, it looked like a little button on her. It looked like a big button on her face, sitting on her face. She hated it, right? So she went for the operation, and when the operation was over, you know, all in bandages, right? So she couldn't see. So she was waiting. After a certain period of time, that thing had to heal, and then you know, the doctor uncovered the bandage and put a mirror in front of her, right? So she looked at the mirror and she went, oh my God, this is the best nose I ever had. You know, that this is the best nose ever. I look awesome. I look so beautiful. Thank you, right? She was so happy with the doctor, right? So now she's done the operation in Germany. She's recuperated. And now she's gone back to Italy. Okay, she's going back to Italy where all her friends and her family and whoever else are, right? And she went back and she was so proud of her new nose, right? She was so proud of this. She spent so much money to do it in Germany. She saved for months, right? And when she walked out in the street, when she went to work and whatever, right? Like people, like people were like looking at her like no difference, right? She was like, hey, do you notice something different about me? And they were like, no, not really, you know. And she was like, what? You know what? You don't see my nose has changed? You don't see there's like something different? Not really. You look the same, you know. And this is where she was so frustrated because she spent all that money because she thought that her nose looked bad, right? But when she walked out on the street all those years before, like nobody had noticed that her nose looked bad. Only she had looked bad. And she noticed it looked bad, and she went and spent all that money to get it fixed, and nobody appreciates it, right? So this was the funny story that I heard from her, and I guess that this is part of us always thinking that other people are judging us. And for the most part, it's all in our imagination. It's all in our imagination. And it may be true. You know, let's put it this way, okay? My skin is dark, right? And someone else's skin is fair. And I might say, you know what? Having a dark skin is not good, right? It's not good. And I may feel very, very self-conscious about having my skin being this color, right? Right? I may feel that. But the funny thing is, right, that the other party, right, they may not think that it's so important, right? They may like to have white skin, right? But on me, they may not think it's important. So it's only me who's thinking, oh, my skin is dark and I'm having a challenge, right? But when I go out and interact with them, they're not judging me by my skin color, for example, right? They might judging me on something else. I don't know what, right? But I may have all these hang-ups in my mind that I am running in my brain that is completely imaginary, right? It's only me and myself, like that girl with her ugly nose, right? Who wasn't which wasn't ugly at all. Okay, so we are done. This is the homework that if you guys are curious about your archetype, if you're curious what type of archetype you are, I am going to share with you in the post. I'm going to share with you this little quiz that you guys can do. Okay, so I've just shared it in the post, culturetalk.com/quiz. It's a simple one, 10 questions, okay? 10 questions that you can answer. 10 questions, simple questions that you can answer. And hopefully you'll be able to find your archetype if you don't already know. It's very important, I think, for you, number one, to find your archetype. To find what kind of personality that you are projecting to other people. And more importantly, if you have a brand, if you have a business, you need to be able to build your messaging around a particular archetype, because all the successful brands, I'm talking billion-dollar brands, right? They are successful because of what I shared with you today. So this stuff, if you're doing brand building, this is super, super, super important, right? If you want to build a brand for your company, no matter whether you're a small company or big company, once you define your archetype, you define your buyer story, you define the messaging around it, you'll find your sales will double, triple, or even 10x, right? Okay, thank you everyone. Welcome for, thank you for the session today. And maybe I will share a little bit, Hadimi, just I want to, let you speak about tomorrow's session. Hadimi is doing tomorrow's session. So let me shut up now and let Hadimi unmute herself and continue.
Hello, everyone. You can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Wow, perfect. I hope you all doing well. So tomorrow is the last session of the program, and it will be about using design thinking in crisis. And it will be maximum 1 hour, obviously, session. So in Indhran, we've been saying that it would be in at 2 p.m., right?
Yeah. So this is 2 p.m. Singapore time, right? That would mean is it 2 p.m. Singapore time? I think it's 2 p.m. Jakarta time. So that it would be 3 p.m. Singapore time, Malaysia time.
Okay. I don't mind personally. I'm open at any time, no problem. But since all of you, like, it's
please put it in the Facebook, right? So that everyone is aware. It's 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Jakarta time, 2 p.m. Because I think if we do it at 1 p.m. Jakarta time, people might be still having their lunch.
Yes, exactly, and it's fine. 2 p.m. Jakarta time, perfect.
Okay.
So I can't wait to share my knowledge with you, learn from you. It will be more into interaction than me talking. So I'm so excited, and I hope to see you all tomorrow.
Yeah, really excited to hear from you, Hadimi. We are very, really excited. Yeah. So Radin says 2 p.m. Jakarta time is good. 1 p.m. still sleeping. All right, cool. Of course, it's Sunday, right? It's Sunday. That's right. Okay, cool. So it will be 2 p.m. Jakarta time at 3 p.m. our time. All right, everyone, take care and see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.